How did I not know there was a 90-foot Hindu monkey god towering over Texas until today? I don't live there, but I live in America. And apparently, that no longer guarantees you'll hear when a foreign deity is installed on U.S. soil at a scale that rivals the Statue of Liberty's pedestal. Can you believe this didn't hit my radar until 7 months later? I completely missed this. Not on the news, not in church, not in any public discussion. For me, it just showed up 90 feet tall, bronze, glorified, and blessed with both the Indian and American national anthems. A foreign monkey god almost as tall as the Statue of Liberty is literally staring down people's subdivision in Texas with a gilded club in hand. And Americans are like, that seems totally normal. The country just nodded like, sure, that seems reasonable. The pathological level of tolerance in today's white American will be studied for generations. This isn't a niche cultural installation. This is the third tallest statue in the entire United States. And it's a god, not a metaphorical god, not a poet's god, a literal object of worship. Hanuman, the monkey-faced warrior deity worshipped in Hinduism. And I'm supposed to believe this is just about diversity. I'm not going to waste time with cheap jokes. Now is not the time to rehash your commentary about Indians eating cow dung, marrying their cousins, scamming old ladies over tech support, worshiping cows, having intimate relationships with goats, hoarding gold, having a country filled with trash and chaos, waving incense at fridge magnets, or manning every third 7-Eleven between El Paso and the Hudson River. That's not even close to the point. In fact, if they can pull off a 90-foot idol installation in Texas, then maybe they should be laughing at us because we're the punchline. They built a monument to their god. We're still debating if it's racist to notice. This isn't assimilation. This is occupation. This is the part where they put down a spiritual flag and dare you to say something, and we won't because we've been trained not to. The statue went up with $8 million in donor funds, cleared by city permits, engineered to withstand Gulf Coast hurricanes, and dedicated with synchronized performances of both national anthems, not just America's, India's. This wasn't a religious event, it was a declaration of presence. The same man behind this statue, Chinnajir Swami, isn't new to the game. In India, he previously commissioned a 216-foot religious statue funded with the help of Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP government. When this guy builds statues, they're not just devotional, they're ideological. And now he's exporting them to the United States like it's a franchise. They're calling it the Statue of Union because nothing says unity like a foreign god staring down your subdivision with a gilded club in hand. It's not union, it's submission by ceremony. And who is Hanuman exactly? If you listen to the PR team, he's just a heroic figure from the Ramayana who represents devotion and courage. But in the real world, especially in India today, Hanuman has become something else entirely. He's the poster deity of militant Hindu nationalism. His image is plastered across flags waved by mobs affiliated with groups like the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, and Bajrang Dal. And those mobs, they don't just pop up out of nowhere. They've got a political daddy, and his name is the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. BJP stands for Bharatiya Janata Party. That's India's ruling party. And if you translate it literally, it means Indian People's Party. Though depending on who you ask, it might as well stand for Bureau of Jumpstarting Pogroms, Beef Jail Patrol, or Box Justifying Propaganda. They're the political wing of the larger Hindu nationalist movement. Think of it like if the GOP was fused with a televangelist megachurch and half the Supreme Court went to the same WhatsApp group. Their brand, Hindu majoritarianism, nationalism, turned up to 11. A crush on ancient myth as history, and a recurring theme of India was perfect before Muslims showed up. You want the official description or the version where we cut the PR crap and look at what they've actually done? The BJP is the political front for the RSS, a paramilitary-style group that's been dreaming of a Hindu-only India since the British were still packing their bags. They didn't want independence so much as they wanted a reboot of the caste-ridden golden age where Muslims, Christians, and anyone with a beef biryani gets told to shut up or leave. Their rise to power wasn't some rags-to-riches democracy tale. It was methodical. Decades of grassroots brainwashing, rewriting history textbooks, infiltrating media, and cozying up to billionaires. Now they run the state, the schools, and the storylines. They weaponize religion like a chainsaw, loud, messy, and effective. Temples become rally stages. Cows become holy landmines. And riots? Well, those tend to happen when law and order looks the other way, while mobs do community service. Their economic policy, cronyism wrapped in startup buzzwords, their foreign policy, chest thumping for the camera, silence when China moves in. Their cultural policy, ban books, jail comedians, and pump national pride until you can't afford groceries. But hey, at least you're proud while starving. And the best part? Dissent equals sedition. Journalism equals treason. Critique equals anti-national. If you say maybe minorities shouldn't live in fear, you're a paid puppet for Pakistan. So yeah, not so much a government as a nationalist cosplay troupe with nukes and a social media army. These aren't yoga studios. These are organizations that have beaten pastors, smashed churches, and forced Christians to chant his name while being tortured. Bajrang Dal literally translates to Brigade of Hanuman. It's a paramilitary youth wing of Hindu nationalism. And they don't just worship Hanuman, they weaponize him. They shout Jai Hanuman as they break into churches. In 2015, one of their mobs desecrated a church in Haryana, smashed the cross, and placed a Hanuman idol on the altar. That wasn't an act of devotion. That was spiritual conquest. In other parts of India, Hanuman's chants have become litmus tests for religious loyalty. Muslims and Christians have been beaten while being forced to say Jai Shri Ram and Jai Hanuman. These are not quaint devotional phrases. They are trial by fire loyalty oaths during religious violence. People have died with Hanuman's name shoved down their throat. And now his face watches over Sugar Land like a conqueror surveying what's already been taken. Try building a statue of Jesus that size in India. In 2020, Christian leaders in Karnataka tried exactly that, a 114-foot statue of Christ the Redeemer. The result? Hindu nationalists rioted, the BJP blocked the land permits, and the government physically removed the cross. Officials accused the project of promoting conversions. Imagine that, a statue as a conversion threat. That statue was never completed, and yet Hanuman stands tall in Texas, untouched and unchallenged. And no, I don't support building 114-foot Jesus statues either. Christ never told us to carve him into granite. The Bible doesn't make exceptions for graven images just because we like the subject. Whether it's Hanuman in Texas or Christ the Redeemer in Rio, it's still idolatry. God doesn't dwell in concrete. He dwells with his people. If a statue that size had been of Jesus, built by a Christian church, you know exactly what would have happened. Lawsuits, protests, endless op-eds about white supremacy, colonialism, theocracy. The New York Times would call it Christian nationalism in bronze. But this gets glowing write-ups in the Houston Chronicle and National Public Radio, NPR, both of which went out of their way to portray a local church protest against the statue as some kind of fringe hate group, because apparently quoting the Bible is now Hindu phobia. Let's talk about that protest. A small church showed up to pray near the statue. They called Hanuman a demon god. They didn't attack anyone. They didn't set anything on fire. But the media treated them like Westboro Baptist 2.0. Why? Because the one thing you're not allowed to do in America anymore is reject other people's gods. The first commandment is unconstitutional now. It's not the monument that's the problem, it's the resistance. The Bible couldn't be clearer on this. You shall have no other gods before me. Do not make for yourself a graven image. What pagans sacrifice they offer to demons, not to God. Hanuman isn't spiritually neutral. He's not some mascot of ethnic celebration. According to scripture, he's a false god, and those who worship him are offering sacrifices to demonic powers. In fact, Paul says Christians cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. And let's not forget what happened in Daniel 3. A 90-foot golden statue was raised in Babylon, and 3 men chose the furnace rather than bow. This isn't a new test. It's an old one. We just dress it up now with city permits and multicultural branding. Meanwhile, while Christians are shamed into silence, Hindus around the world are getting bolder. In India, Christians know to watch out for Tuesdays and Saturdays, Hanuman's sacred days, because that's when mobs tend to strike. They're not random. The violence becomes a ritual, a kind of sick, demonic liturgy. And we're sitting here debating whether it's culturally insensitive to say no thanks. They'll tell you this is just cultural pride. But it's not culture when mobs scream Hanuman's name before riots. It's not culture when a Christian prayer meeting is attacked and the men doing the beating chant Jai Hanuman while forcing people to reconvert. It's not culture when a god becomes a bludgeon, and that's what Hanuman has become for India's extremist class. Now his bronze form towers over Texas, and we're too afraid to even call it what it is. Let's not pretend this happened because the Hindu community in Sugar Land is massive. Indian Americans make up less than 1% of Texas and about 11% of Sugar Land. Nationwide, Hindus are about 0.7% of the population. So how did they get a 90-foot religious monument installed in a Christian majority state? Because a small group with boldness will always outperform a large group with cowardice. That's not theory, that's history. And we're watching it repeat in real time. This isn't about demographics. This is about territorial confidence. They believed they had the right to raise their god, and they did. We, meanwhile, are still waiting for a permission slip from the HR Department of History before we push back. This isn't just a culture war. This is spiritual warfare, the kind that Ephesians 6 warned us about, the kind where the weapons aren't swords but symbols, and the battleground is public space. The same church that once shook empires now can't even speak against a monkey god without a social media apology statement. We've gone from overturning idols to defending their right to skyline access. And God help us, we're proud of it. If you're a Christian and you're still on the fence about this, let me be clear. You're not being loving by staying silent. You're being a coward. And Revelation 21:8 lists the cowardly and the idolaters in the same line just before the lake of fire. We are either going to stand now or we're going to kneel later, and not to the God we think. The Hanuman statue is not just a religious object, it's a test. And if the church in America can't say no to this, if we're too afraid to speak truth, too addicted to comfort, too worried about optics, then we've already lost. Because if we won't draw the line here, we never will.